Doesn't sound right. It means rest and recuperation. For us, it meant someone else, which means we continue on. There is another series going on. Don't be deceived, though. It is not 0-0. All right, my math skills, not the best, Lidakor, but from what I understand, someone is getting a shellacking between Artie and Garnath.
Indeed, now you can see it on the scoreboard. 2-0 lead for Garnath over here, seed 15 versus seed number 7, Artie. Artie has had a spectacular performance so far this weekend, but it could come to an ugly end over here if he can't turn this around. He was the one who took down Striker, took down Give You Anxiety before that, but how about Garnath? He knocked out Koinu, he knocked out Chrysaor, so some big names also getting taken down by Garnath, but if I'm not mistaken, we already have a game up here with a Civilization matchup that all of us are more than familiar with. Let's jump into Lipany with Abbasids versus the Delhi.
Let's get to it. Delhi looking dominant today. Might be fitting for Garnath also looking dominant, having Artie by the long and curlies already. Let's see if he can close it out, or if Artie can make a recovery arc here. If he could actually carve into his legacy an amazing story to keep the dream alive.
And we mentioned this. There could be Cinderella stories here in the last chance qualifiers. And we have already seen one with really unskilled reaching the top 8. But how about Garnath? Not just reaching the top 8, but knocking on the door of the top 4, getting to day number 2 in the LCQs. And he could easily be the surprise story of the event. Someone that has been trying to play, or that has tried to play in the qualifiers, but really never found any success. In fact, he was very low on the weekly scoreboard even, never really had a breakthrough performance. So from that perspective, it is a surprise to see him up here. Although, as I said, he has been practicing and he's been participating in these events for quite a while, so he definitely comes in here with a tremendous amount of experience.
Yeah, and he's on quite the blaster right now. His first series was 2-1, and it's actually the only game he's dropped so far in the last chance qualifiers. That was against Chrysaor, who was playing on his signature English, so up against a strong choice there, especially considering Garnath went into that in an English mirror. Kind of makes sense why it came out that way. But after that, came back 2-1, then went through up against Koinu, was able to 2-0 Koinu to end his chances of making it to Wololo, and now he's on the precipice of making it into the qualifier match with one of the cleanest streaks. In fact, the only person I think who's had a cleaner run is Magic, possibly Kyo at this rate if he keeps it up, who have not dropped a game so far.
And the terrifying thing right now for Artie is that this Civilization matchup we have seen numerous times today. And out of the 5 games that we have witnessed between these two civilizations, hang on, 5 games were won by the Delhi. By far the best ratio ever since March or so. For a long time, the Abbasids were dominating this matchup, but today, every single game between these two civilizations that we have watched were actually Delhi-sided.
Here's another thought for you. Don was in one of those matches we talked about. He was playing the Delhi versus the Abbasids of Striker, where he said even when it looked to us like he was behind, he felt confidently ahead. Now, let's see if that confidence comes in. Let's see if he has a good read on the situation, or if in his mind he actually feels like he's hard counted in this matchup.
Now we have an interesting map spawn here, because this Lipany has quite a lot of hills, even for the standards of Road to Wololo Lipany, which is an adjusted version of the standard built-in Lipany we're using. But you really feel like the trenches are dug. It's pretty straightforward how you have to wall or where you have to wall if you want to play a defensive game. And it is going to be somewhat more difficult to put up some aggression on this map, because there's a lot more chance for either of these players to play a much more passive and wall-focused game.
Well, when we look at this kind of spawn as well, as the mate mentioned, that true to form, Lipany has made these sacred sites not easily wallable, right? You'd have to wall around them, so that might be the approach Garnath wants to go to. Speaking of approaches to Garnath, there's someone I was expecting to see. Tower of Victory, that's why we went an extra series. I sensed it. There was a disturbance in the force. It is time for the Delhi to rise different.
And remember what I said a couple of series ago about this. Tower of Victory, high risk, but gigantic reward possibly. This could easily lose you the game, and you could be looking back at this and saying, why did I do that? But look at the scoreboard. Garnath is up 2-0. This is the moment where you can gamble. You can take this gamble, because if it works out, you have got yourself a ticket to the finals tomorrow. If it doesn't work out, you still have your chance to recover. I love this from Garnath. He's playing high upside right now, and he's playing to win. He's not playing to avoid losing. He's playing to win.
And here's a wacky one for you. Drop a Tower of Victory and then build a Stables. That's not something people frequently do. Usually it's the racks and the archery range opener. Maybe he was hoping Donati would be baited by the Tower of Victory's placement, but no. Artista gets all of the info required. Maybe somewhat perplexed by this choice to start with Horsemen instead of Infantry. Because remember, that Tower of Victory only buffs the attack speed of Infantry, not Cavalry.
It's still fine though, because here the mindset will be that if you go for Horsemen, Donati has to respect that. He has to go for his own spears. And in the end, what you want to work with if you're Garnath is archers, mass archers. To a point where boosted archers with the Tower of Victory are so powerful that they can deal with anything in Feudal Age. Even mass horsemen, once you reach a critical mass of like 30 or so with the archers, they can deal with that. So at this point, it's fine for him to add horsemen. He's going to have some map control. He's going to force Donati to invest into a couple of spearmen, and that's going to help, ultimately making it easier to make the archer switch.
The timing as well, and the horseman arriving is actually going to be a nuisance to Donati.
Yeah.
He actually has to double down with the villager force to get this TC up quick enough. Why even lose one villager? It's going to be a little bit tight, and there's no one here because he went on berries. So he doesn't actually have the extra arrow fire to punish this first horseman.
It's annoying for Donati, that's the key word here. Sure enough, he can recuperate those losses, but when you are down 2 games, you really don't want to lose any villagers here to your opponent. And those small bits could easily be the deciding factors between these two here. And Garnath, he's going to be more than happy to have a decent start here. And indeed, there's a barracks from Donati. This is something that Garnath is happy about. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was about to say, another small and annoying detail for Donati. Did you see that wood line and how far away from the TC he was?
Yeah.
These horsemen would punish him, so he has to go for spears. It's going to play right into Garnath's hand, because this should be where we see a switch over into archeries. And pew pew go fast is all I'm going to say, folks. Like, you have the healing factor, you have the 20% attack speed buff. This is going to be absurd. And another cool detail about this build, because you didn't go for the Dome of Faith, you paid the full price for the scholars, but you build them quicker. So these blacksmiths are going to get a return on their investment quicker.
Yeah, and because there is no aggression posed here by Donati, you will still get away with 2, possibly even 3 sacred sites, despite the fact that you don't have a tremendous amount of scholars. And once you have those 3 sacred sites, you're gonna be able to afford those much pricier scholars from the mosques, rather than just going for the cheaper ones from the Dome of Faith.
Pause that thought. I'm gonna have to beat Garnath with a stick. And you notice there's something wrong about this blacksmith build?
One of them is not connected?
No, it's worse than that.
He's not getting the text. Sad.
Yeah. He's built a blacksmith and it's just sitting there. Maybe this is the next level, Lidakor. I mean, why take that extra effort to click the buttons when you can just imply to your opponent that you're doing it? And he's like, whoa, I'm going to back off.
But it's free, KP. It is free. You gotta grab it.
It's not free, though. Yeah, we're late into the evening, Lidakor. Extra clicks is extra energy, okay?
I mean, it's extra money even. Like, every click you make with your mouse brings it closer to the death. So every click you make, you actually have to invest into a future mouse.
And Garnath has calculated how many clicks he has left until he has to replace his mouse. He's calculated enough to make it through Wololo with you know, 3 O's and 4 O's. And then make it at least to the grand finals of Wololo. But it all comes down to him optimizing the amount of clicks.
I love how he optimized the amount of clicks by going for professional scouts, but not a single blacksmith upgrade.
But that'll have value down the line with that one scout, Lidakor. I mean, how much value are you really going to get out of archery upgrades when you've got 6 archers? Come on.
Oh, that camel archer on the field, he's gonna feel very sad here facing off against those archers boosted by the Tower of Victory, and this is concerning for Donati. We talk about this often. The escalation time for the Abbasids is around 16-17 minutes game time. It's very far away from there, and we're already looking at Garnath having all 3 sacred sites and having a formidable army here to hold off this push.
Oh, and he's even wrapping around with the camel archers. Problematic now for Donati. He just can't get the good trades he's looking for. These archers, they're actually incredibly effective. The only downside is the walls are stopping the scholars from healing, but overall, this is a bad fight for Artie. Another problem for him is he can't show weakness here. If he backs off, Garnath will just move forward. He'll move into the economy. In fact, right now, his economy is superior to Artie's, despite what the villager lead says. It's all these sacred sites, 150 gold per.
But look at that. He doesn't even want to push in. He's piling up resources for Castle Age over here. And he's gonna go even more aggressive. He's going to play Tower Victory not in Feudal, but in Castle.
And that's when it gets dangerous, because if you go for the House of Learning, Home Blades, baby, plus the attack speed buffer, your men-at-arms are unbeatable. They're absurd.
It's also the crossbows. Crossbows are just such a good general purpose unit. We see it every so often. And when they are boosted by the House of, or by the Tower of Victory, it gets even better.
Camel Archers, Donati is investing a lot into this. Now up to 6 against the heal factor. He's trying to snipe down the Scholars, but I don't think it's quick enough. He's going to probably lose all the camels here. This is a really bad trade for Donati.
It's a terrible trade. He may have sniped down a couple of Scholars, but even then, there is 8 remaining for Garnath. For every single of those Camel Archers being picked off, tremendous value lost here for Donati. He's got basically no standing army left, and this is going to be a free passage for Garnath to Castle Age, when Garnath is also controlling all 3 sacred sites still.
I mean, he looks like, yeah, I don't want to call it premature, but you feel pretty done. Like, look where you are with your eco now. You're in exposed areas. Your military has been decimated. Your opponent's about to go for Castle Age. Your economy isn't good enough to justify, like, playing behind on this. I think Artie needs maybe some raiders, try and find a way of punishing Garnath on the back end, because you can't take a fight directly anymore.
Yeah, and look at that. Bear is running out here for Donati. It's already saturated with villagers. He's got some sheep back at home to work with. The hunt is gone. And soon he's gonna have to work his way towards more map control to secure additional resources. But by the time he does that, Garnath is gonna have the sacred sites walled off. He's gonna be going up to Castle Age with the House of Learning as expected. And that's where that Tower of Victory really comes online. And don't forget, there is 6.5 minutes left on that sacred site countdown. Donati is gonna have to make a move sooner rather than later.
I actually grimaced when you said he has sheep. Like, imagine picking Lipany, picking Abbasids, and saying, I have to go sheep. In a Delhi matchup as well. Like, that's the difference here, right? Garnath has the inflated gathering rates.
Yep.
You don't as the Abbasid player. In fact, even with your superior gathering rates via Golden Age, you're behind Garnath's income. Like, on a villager-by-villager basis, right? We can see the income is higher for Artie, but who cares? Look at the military difference.
Yeah, that's what matters. And that could easily snowball the game out here. And Donati has no desire to contest the Northern Sacred Site, which, by the way, is completely undefended. And now Garnath is going to start picking up the relics, just further escalate this game. This could easily snowball out of control in a matter of seconds.
Tech up comes through, so Garnath does show respect. He backs up for the moment. Looks like he's actually prepping spears now that he sees a ball of horsemen coming in. And is already looking to pick up the relics. 4 of them all the way home to Garnath already. This is a brilliant pull. And Donati is so funneled in on that central sacred site. By the time he realizes how many relics have been picked up, it's going to be too late.
Yeah, once again, no upgrades coming in here from the House of Learning. So the crazy thing about this one is that Garnath is doing so well, despite making all these kind of missteps. Just forgetting about the blacksmith upgrades, forgetting about the upgrades in the House of Wisdom even. This could be even better for him if he actually paid attention to those things. Yet his position is still terrifying right now. Sacred Site in the middle is gonna get decapped, but it's a different problem now for Donati. He's stuck in Feudal against the Castle Age army.
Flash coming in, all on the backside. No! True Barrow isn't good enough. He gets them. Artie just lost the villager lead, and he's gonna lose the main battle as well. Garnath is styling in this series.
The distraction in the middle was so perfect. Donati was focusing on just the micro in the middle, picking off all those scholars. Little did he know that his villagers are about to get converted. And that is a big W on the board for Garnath. And just a moral heartbreaker for Donati.
Now Artie, he still has the Camel Archer ball. He needs to push in, and now he realizes how bad things are gonna get. Because now the Eco League is no longer with him. The relics are being gathered up as well. 2 sacred sites are still controlled. Artie has to find a way of ending this game quick. He can't look towards Castle Age. He cannot look towards a reboom. He needs to boom Garnath's base. But with mass Camel Archers, you have no way of doing any permanent damage with these dives.
Yeah, you can pick off a couple of villagers, but you can't get rid of the passive income that Garnath is having from the relics from the sacred sites, and slowly but sure those Camel Archers will get picked off. They are barely doing any damage to the eco here. I linked some, but the price to pay for Donati was just too huge here.
Incredible play from Garnath. Yes, he sacrifices the military, but he takes away any edge Artie can have. If Artie takes this fight, still has the eco lead, has all that food gathering, escalation occurs. Instead, Garnath is now going to get the breathing room he needs. You can see the premium units now coming out. Men-at-Arms, Lancers, even prepping the military academy. Artie will not have military pop cap lead for long, and he has no opportunity to reach up in the castle in this game. It's all in now.
Yeah, he has to go. He's got a formidable army, 15 horsemen, now I'm up to 16.
Oh, look,
also.
Lord.
Yeah,
Did you see that? That was... It's
Yeah.
happened again. We've gone from blacksmiths to House of Learning, but apparently Garnath is not learning. Another Wololo, maybe?
Oh,
I mean,
not this time around.
If he does, nah, this one won't happen. Don Artie is going to snipe this out, so he'll prevent one of the 5 relics from being banked.
Yeah, Don Artie's force is actually rather scary over here. A lot of camel archers, quite a lot of horsemen on the field. The question is how much time Garnath has left to add his own army, because he's still lacking premium units. Just 7 knights on the field, and those will be debuffed by the camels. Problem for Don is that he's not pushing in. He's giving a lot of time for Garnath to leverage the relics and the sacred sites, and just get some units out, Castle Age premium tier units, that are able to just deal with the camel archers and the horsemen.
Well, you know, it makes it even more incredible the way that Garnath got that Wololo. Just think what could happen if you just held the delete key, right, when you see that play. People panic, though. Actually, that's why my thought is, like, when you delete villages, it should take longer than a full Wololo, just so you can't do that, right? But, man, it's so many people forget. You forget it at the moment. You panic. Just imagine if he just deletes the villages instead. Garnath's eco isn't looking as good. That being said, Artie is beginning to reboom. He is getting some control in this game. Premium Lancers coming out, but the problem that you have if you're Garnath is you haven't answered the Camel Archer ball, something that reduces the damage of your Lancers.
The bigger problem is that we're not seeing any use of that Tower of Victory, to be honest. Just a couple of men-at-arms, that's all.
Flash now. Scholars in the mixer. A lot of horsemen, but enough Lancers to hold the choke point. A good fight right now for Garnath to be taken. The healing in mass is effective. I think he might even prioritize herbal medicine. Camel Archer's going to have to back away. They can't stand against this anymore. And what's going to make it worse is Garnath hasn't even upgraded the archers yet. That's coming in soon, at which point this army from Don Artie cannot trade anymore. In fact, he looks like he's going to throw it away.
Yeah, this could be it. He's losing his entire army, and he's got no chance to go to Castle Age. 43 army against 15. And that is enough damage potential from those Lancers to start taking down that exposed TC out there. The eco of Don Artie is now exposed. He has had one chance. That is an all-in push in Feudal. Now that chance probably slipped out of his hands.
And it shows you how much room still Garnath has for improvement, yet what he does here. We talked about the tech ups, the fact that he wasn't getting home plays. Fix that now. But also, notice that he hasn't been prioritizing the piercing upgrade at all at any stage because the blacksmiths didn't come through quick enough. I think he's still playing one blacksmith at this stage. There's definitely areas that Garnath could still optimize on, yet he's still giving an absolute routing to Don Artie. Don Artie, who I'd say was probably top 6 in people's mind for people who can make it in the last chance qualifiers.
And Don Artie had a good day today. This wasn't the Don Artie that we have seen in the weeklies or even the monthlies. This was a much better Don Artie, and he really looked like a candidate to qualify. But in comes Garnath, pushes him to 2-0, and then pulls off a really good game with a Delhi, despite all the unpolished details that we have seen here from him.
What a final way it could be for him to make the final day of the road to Wololo with possibly one of the best Wololos I think we've seen in the entire bloody tournament. Style him right now. All 3 sacred sites once again captured. A lot of wood being gathered by Don Artie, but he can't show weakness here because that is an exposed area that Lancers will pounce on. That could obliterate him beyond repair.
The problem is that he's gonna have to fight soon, because look at Garnath. He's piling up stone for a keep, and that keep, I can tell you, that's gonna be placed at a very aggressive spot, intending to finish the game as it is.
You could park it on the hill right there to the right side. That could give you a reach in. Like, yeah, it's not deep enough to hit anything, but what it does is it stops your opponent from coming out. Speaking of coming out, Don Artie's doing that right now. He's playing berries in the midfield. Going to punish Garnath for trying to do the same.
He's got a lot of spearmen.
What
could be the key factor here.
Garnath's on the move. He waited. He actually waited until he came deep enough. He's going to make the move now, but instead of going after the army, he might even just go straight into Don Artie's base. Wrap around. Stealth force between them. I don't know how much this Don Artie sees right now. I think he's blind to what's coming.
He could easily get surrounded with no chance. Oh, the mill is going to reveal this.
No. Mill MVP scout right now. Don Artie, what's he going to do? He's going to go deeper. Looks like there's a move away. Garnath didn't hang around. Got most of the villagers out. 4 are still banked inside the outpost. He's still making his way across. He wants to try and crush the army. It's not enough to beat Don Artie. He wants to crush him mind, body, and soul as well. Best way to do that is by killing his beloved camels.
And here comes the charge. Archers lagging behind though.
Flash. Yep, he's going to pull back for the archers to arrive now, as he does see Spearmen are in the mixer now. Lance is starting to spread out a little here. And there's just a fight that Garnath can body. He's definitely got the numbers. The scholars are slow to arrive, but they arrive fast when they want to. Swiftness, MVP. Gets him in range. The heal's going to allow him to hold on. Artie not looking healthy here. Numbers are falling fast. Front line is gone, and the back line too squishy. Camel archers are going to go down the drain. In fact, 12 camel archers at 240 each. You can buy yourself a tech up with that.
Casualties are just so immense here for Don Artie, and he's got the villager numbers, but look at that. Keep getting stopped in the middle here.
Blocked it out last second. Villager pull good, but more villagers coming in.
He's
with the
gonna get it up.
Well, he can complete this.
Kenny!
This could be a disaster right now. The body blocks, not going to be good enough. Don Artie cannot do it. Garnath gets the final touch. Keep is up. It blocks out the full infrastructure. Now Don Artie back to square one.
Oh, he still has good villager numbers, but now he's pinned inside his base. And for Garnath, this is turning into an all-in here. He's eco, not looking that shiny, but he's sitting on 3 sacred sites and 5 relics. With a formidable force numbering almost 80 units, 40 archers now with veterancy, also a bunch of lancers with own blades close to finishing. This is a push that Don Artie won't be able to stop. He simply doesn't have the beef anymore to fight this.
What's that song with Madonna and Justin Timberlake? Tick-tock, tick-tock. That's kind of how it feels to Don Artie right now. It's probably all you can hear in his mind. 7 minutes away from a Sacred Site victory. No easy way for Don Artie to overcome this deficit now. Still playing Feudal versus Castle. And Garnath, this is the problem Artie has. If he decides to go for a tech up, by the time he gets there, Garnath's probably pop-capped. Artie would have to sacrifice that to get there.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't accelerate your castle age here if you're Don Artie, and strictly speaking, even if you get to castle age, you're outnumbered 3-1 right now, and a battering ram, that is just spelling desperation over here. I don't think that Don Artie knows how much exactly he's facing, and that's part of the reason why he's still hoping for a recovery.
Like, you can't reach castle, right? Like, it'll take you 2 minutes. 2 minutes, the damage that they're going to do, they're going to torch down everything. Even with the fire resistance, it does not matter. Too many troops torching this down. Too much for Don Artie to overcome. His dreams will be crushed. Garnath, the dark horse rising in the last chance qualifier.
What a day for Garnath over here. Really terrifying performance. As you said, one of the most spectacular performances here in the last chance qualifiers. He's one best of 7 away from getting a ticket to Heidelberg, and if he does, he's gonna be the Cinderella story of the event. We talked about this one prior to the last chance qualifiers, that anyone can make it. You just need one good run, and boy oh boy is he having a good run right now.
Exactly. You know, there's going to be another Cinderella story, another guy on the other side that's been kind of pipped to the post tonight at every turn. Kyo is still in contention up against Zertin in the final round of 8 going on today. Either one of them could be a damn good showing up against Magic, but this is starting to kind of shape up, right? Garnath versus Recon in a best of 7 tomorrow. Magic versus the question mark of Zertin or Kyo. 2 expected players there, and possibly 2 underdogs as well. But right now, our mind is with Garnath. What he's done here to Don Artie. Maybe you could have seen a one in which Garnath takes the series, but 3-0 is quite the statement